We are back on Inside Politics. Our guest, Vanderbilt law professor Brian Fitzpatrick. We're talking about the controversy over the appointments to the Supreme Court and the future of the court as well. Professor Fitzpatrick, it appears that the committee may be voting as late as October 22nd on the nomination. The Democrats may be able to delay it long enough. It'll be the 29th of October. That's getting perilously close to November 3rd in the election. A lot of these Republican senators, and even on the Democratic side, want to be home and campaigning. So Senator McConnell's really going to have to test his mettle, along with making sure the virus doesn't break out in the Senate, to get this done before Election Day.
He may have to thread the needle, but if anyone can do it, Senator McConnell can. Listen, conservatives have been waiting for decades for this moment, and they're not going to let it slip by.
The president, when this happened, when Justice Ginsburg passed away, people thought that the nomination here would galvanize and change the presidential election. It would become the big issue, much as it was in 2018, where the Senate Republicans were helping to actually expand their majority in the Senate 2 years ago. But it doesn't seem this issue has become a big deal. Is that going to change now that the hearings start and we start moving towards an actual vote in the Senate?
I think it could. We will see what happens during the hearings. But if something happens during the hearings like they happened during the Kavanaugh hearings, we could see voters get very galvanized around this issue. I firmly believe that what the Democrats did to Brett Kavanaugh led them to lose some Senate seats that they might have won. And so if they're not careful, I think the same thing could happen this time.
Is that another reason why Joe Biden, who's the Democratic presidential nominee, has been rather closed-mouthed about what some Democrats are talking about doing in the future, which is if they win both the White House and the Senate, they will seek to expand the size of the court? What was called under Franklin Roosevelt to pack the court? Is that the reason he doesn't want to bring that issue up, because it might also not help the Democrats?
I think so. This is something very popular among very liberal parts of the Democratic Party. I think most voters do not see this as a good government idea. They see it as raw partisanship. But like I've said, judicial nominations have been 3 decades of raw partisanship. So I would not be surprised if the Democrats do, in fact, do it if they get power.
Well, this may be another red herring that come out of the hearing, but is Justice Barrett going to be asked about the possibility about the event that was held at the White House that some people think was a super spreader when her nomination was actually announced by the president? A lot of people that went to that event have come down with the COVID since then, although there's been no contact tracing for exactly all that happened. She just has had COVID-19. Are people going to ask her if she thought perhaps she was immune? And that's why she has not said anything about what happened, whether she thought that event was a good idea or a bad idea, given the way it was handled in terms of social distancing and masks.
You know, I'm sure she'll be asked about it, but, nominees don't have a lot of control over how the president decides to announce their nominations. And so I'm not sure she could have done anything about it, even if she thought that the event was not handled in a very safe way.
So in the past, Supreme Court nominations used to be very, very non-controversial. It used to pass 90-0. Has it become more controversial in recent years, not just because of the partisan divide, but because of the change in the rules? Because now you don't have to worry about a filibuster stopping it, so you didn't have to worry about not being able to get big numbers to pass it. You can pass it with just 51 votes.
Every presidential administration since Reagan's nominee of Robert Bork failed, these nominations have become more and more controversial. You're absolutely right. Justice Scalia was confirmed 98-0. Justice Ginsburg was confirmed something like 89-3. These used to be moments when if you had a well-qualified, thoughtful, decent person, there was no way that person could be stopped from getting confirmed. That's totally changed. We have this hyper-partisanship now. A lot of it, I think, has to do with the fact that the judges do not follow originalist philosophies and made up constitutional rights for so long. And voters began to see the Supreme Court as another politician, and they wanted politicians that were going to make up rights that they preferred. And hopefully, if we get enough originalists up there, that attitude will change.
Now, do you think at this point that we're going to those kind of days where we confirm justices to the Supreme Court 98-0 are over? That's gone for good. The system in politics across the country has become so polarized, so politicized that kind of thing is just not going to be possible in the future?
Without a major change to the Supreme Court, I think it's unforeseeable that things are going to go back the way they were. They're going to get worse and worse and worse until one big change happens, and that big change is getting rid of life tenure for Supreme Court justices.
So you'd like to see them go to
acrimony.
You'd like to see terms for the Supreme Court. You'd like to say, what, a 20-year term?
There's
How long?
a bill. There's a bill. It's got bipartisan support. 18-year term, and you'd stagger it so every 2 years another justice would roll off. Every president gets 2 Supreme Court justices every 4-year term. It de-escalates the entire thing.
That's an interesting situation. Do you think that's something that will be pursued in the next term of Congress, just because we've had so much trouble with the increasing trouble over getting these people confirmed?
We need to hit rock bottom, and once we do, both sides will realize something has to be done. We may have hit rock bottom now, but if not, if the Democrats pack the court, that will be rock bottom, and both sides will come together and do something.
Professor Fitzpatrick, thank you so much for being with us. We'll have you back again in the future on Inside Politics.
I'd love to come back. Thank you so much.
That's Inside Politics for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you'll be back here again for a future show. If you can't get into politics in the meantime, go to the News Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol Review commentary there. There's new commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you here next time. Goodbye.